33. What an awesome show we have today. It's the Steve and Steve Show. Two awesome martial artists who happen to be named Steve. Two guys that are pals of mine. Two guys that are pals of mine, and two guys that I got to be honest with you, I was the one that threw both of these names in the hat because I just love watching these guys move. So we have Steve Harms from England, and we have Steve Arsenault from Massachusetts today. The technique is Dance of Darkness. Dance of Darkness. Some of the guys were really excited about that one. I was like, ooh, what about Unwinding Pendulum? But got outvoted, so the technique is Dance of Darkness. All right. Right off the bat, we're going to send it out to Bradford, Pennsylvania, Mr. Michael Miller.
Hello, everybody. Okay, so I'm going to keep this pretty brief because I'm the first one to go, and we have 11 more presenters. But there are a couple things I want to bring out. So I'm just going to go through the way I teach it. Obviously, this is a kick-punch combination. We know you have single punches, you have single kicks. And then you have punch-kick combinations, kick-punch combinations, and so on and so forth. This one is a kick-punch combination with the same leg, or same side, I should say. So you do the kick with the right leg, you follow it up with a straight punch with the right arm, okay? So we're starting in our neutral position. I teach it as we call it the framed position. And what we're doing is they're throwing the kick. We're going to do the downward parry. Some people teach it as a block. That's okay. Downward parry, inward parry, outward parry, stepping up with a poke. Generally, I teach this as a two-finger poke. Turning it into a hook, anchoring as you step off, and then we're doing the double shot here. So you have a back knuckle and you have a vertical punch. As far as targets go, you have choices. But generally kidney, and some people teach punch them in the shoulder and with your vertical, back knuckle them in the kidney. Basically, you're hitting them wherever you can. Then you go into a palm strike. Some people teach this to the shoulder. I like to teach this to the back of the head. So you palm strike them in the back of the head. And then some people teach grab the shoulder and back knuckle. I like to, if they have hair, I hit them in the back of the head and I grab their hair and I anchor before I throw this back knuckle. Now I teach this, and you guys will see there's different versions, but I teach this as a clearing mechanism, like you're doing a back knuckle. I do that to the arm, and I know it might be hard to envision because I don't have a partner here today. But, so here, and then you do this poke, sweep, poke. Then you spin out, and some people teach this as an elbow and a buckle and then a kick. I like to do it's like a hook kick to take them down, and then I do more of a roundhouse kick with a roundhouse kick with the ball of my foot. So one more time real quick. So I go here, out, hit, grab, hit, clear, poke, sweep, poke, come around. Okay, is the way that I teach this. Now a couple things I want to bring out here. The main thing is, first off, having the proper line of force for your pokes. Because what I've noticed over the years is, I'll do it this way so you guys can kind of see, and I'll try to get in close, is I've noticed that people tend to circle their pokes. That's not the proper line of force. We're going to the eyeball. You want to go straight. You're not doing this, right? So instead of like, I'm going to go poke, sweep, poke, that's not what you want. You want poke, sweep, poke. Okay? So make sure you have the proper line of force. The second thing is the proper timing on that, especially on that second poke, because I see people all the time, they do the poke, they sweep, I'm going to move up a little bit, they sweep, and then they go way back here, and then they do the second poke, which means you are now out of range. So the timing is poke, sweep, poke, so that you actually make contact there. Now, keep in mind, this is ideal phase, and we know we have what if, and we have formulation and all that fun stuff. But the idea here is, if you poke them in the eye, they're probably going to move backwards anyway. So you certainly don't want to go poke, sweep, poke. So you have to be quick, you know. So you have to be here, here, here. And by the way, you probably won't do the rest of the technique. But we all understand Kenpo. We know how it works. I don't have to go too crazy with that. But anyway, so that's how I do it. I know there's several versions of everything. That's the way I do it. So one more time. Here, 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 step, hit, hit, grab, hit, clear, poke. And I think that's my 5 minutes. Back to you, Mr. Beck.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Miller. Excellent as always. All right, moving right along. We're going to send it down to Florida. He's a rock star, and he's full of energy. Mr. Monty Noir.
Greetings to all. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Steve, my deepest condolences again. He's always going to be in my heart, your father, my brother, always. I always mention before I start, I want to thank everybody in the front line. Everybody's making our life easier. All the nurses and the doctors, the police officers, everybody that is on the front line. With the technique today, I want to address a few things in it. One of them is, as we're moving, we're finding our chambering happening because of the motion. Sometimes in Kenpo, we don't chamber, but we take advantage of our motion to create the chamber, which I will address it as we're doing it. So as we're standing in, and the guy is, of course, coming in with a kick and punch, so we deflect the kick. A lot of times you find yourself, the words of Mr. Velez always saying, get out of the way. I like that, okay? So I like to always don't step back to 6 o'clock. Try to vary off just in case if your body mechanism did not fall, you will not get kicked, or his thrust is coming in too fast, you will not be in the way, okay? So as we step slightly out of the way and we block, so we step out of the way and we check hopefully right behind the elbow, and we slide it down. No sooner than that happen, that's when you do the like an arm bar and break to the back of the elbow, okay? So as you step in, you block, and from there he's gonna get in that position. So you track on his arm right into the eye, and you rip. So you rip downward, you rip to your 7 o'clock downward, okay? So you rip, and then from there you make sure that your body rotate. And remember, I don't punch like this. So as I rip, and I make my whole body advance forward to my target. So my punches are vertical punches and go into the kidney and a little bit above, which is going to ricochet right into his liver. So I rip down and make my body respond back. And then from there, you check and you punch the side of the jaw, the side of his face, or the back of his head, whatever the target may be. So from there, this is what I like to address, okay? So as you rip and you step back, you punch, and then you hook. Now, as soon as when I hook the eye, this is the guiding for the second eye, which is netting and threading. So as I hook the eye and move his face, okay, because I want to anchor so I can go into the target. So as I hook, okay, and I create that anchor to the target. As my brother was saying, I don't sweep till after I enter that, and that's when I sweep. Now at that time, there is a nice strike right there if you want to, and his arms, make sure that his arms go right into his face. This goes right in the back of the kidney. You sweep him down and you kick or whatever you want, okay, from there. So as we step back, there's the palm, and then there's the break. You ride on. See, this is the one I'm talking about. You see this? So this is not, the chamber get created with your motion forward. So you don't do this and this. So the chamber comes forward, whack, and then you rip and hit, punch, then you hook, and then there's your strike. Because you're moving his body right into me. You're making this eye is already poked. So this eye is going to get poked immediately right next to it. Okay. So you go hook, and then there's your target. Okay. And then from there you sweep, and that creates, if you want to, you can hit to, if he is too heavy, or if he is like resistance or like a chambered on you, whatever, boom. And then and then you drop and you continue with the technique. So there's a few things that I added in between as a practice with some guys, and they're heavy. I practice in the gym. There's some heavy bodybuilders, and sometimes you need to tenderize them a little bit more. So you sweep back, and then you check, hit, you rip, punch, you hook the eye, and then there it goes. Okay, no sooner. This goes in, remember, this goes in as you're a little bit before you sweep. And then from there, you can punch if you want to, or slap his arms into his face if you want to. And then you rotate. This goes right on the back of his kidney. So it can go, and then from there, you sweep him down, and you drop him down. And with that in mind, I appreciate the time that you've given me. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. God bless you all.
You know, I think it needs to be pointed out that as far as Brotherhood instructors are concerned, Monty is one of the most high-flying Brotherhood instructors. There's always a jump kick in there. I love it. Excellent stuff as always, Monty. All right.
Thank you, sir.
Moving right along, we're going to throw it to Kennett Square, Pennsylvania, Mr. Mark Lawler.
Greetings, everybody. Happy Saturday. Good to be with everybody again. I'd just like to start by saying hello to our guests. Steve Arsenault, how you doing, my old friend? It's very good to see you here. Steve Harms, I know we never met. I was very sorry to hear about your dad. I regret never having met him. And I know you guys were on a call a few months ago, and that was one of the times that I couldn't make the call. So I regret missing that. So welcome. And my wife, Gail, of course, you all know. My better half, as they say. Insert your own Rodney Dangerfield joke there. All right, so today's technique, Dance of Darkness. Our darkness techniques, typically, you're going behind the guy to a blind zone. My understanding of the name, and again, I got this from Mr. Parker, was the principle of object obscurity. When you make that first poke and it's in the guy's eye, he's not seeing this track down and come out. So, that move is hidden. And before I demonstrate my take on this, I said this last month, and I'll just repeat, one of the cool things about this is we all got to put our own wrinkles on this technique. Some of us are going to teach the book version. I like to go way off the script and do things a little bit differently. So, and now right now, Dan Meck's going, don't say you're boxing. Don't compare it to boxing. Not this month, Dan, don't worry. Okay, so, all right. I'm thinking, Gail, maybe a line right here. So it's the attack is a right step through front kick, right punch. And I'm basically going to let's switch here. I'm going to do this like Monty, okay? I believe that this first move, which is a twist stance coming back, I like to angle off, okay? And when the punch comes in, we have this hook, a vertical outward block breaks, which will probably send the hand up, hopefully. All right, now, there's a hidden move here, which is the elbow as we step in and we rip. And I have my left hand checking. This is where we typically come to this double shot. Now, I've seen this, one low, one high. I don't like that. I find it lacks power. And I know Monty did it this way. I like this reinforced shot, the bottom hand being the kidney, The top hand being that point under the shoulder blade that we use on flashing wings to get the person to pop up. Okay, sometimes there's some ambiguity about where that shot goes. I know you can do it different places. For me, that's what I like to do for that. Here's where I'm going to change things a little bit. Instead of sweeping and doing the eye pokes, we're going to keep the direction going this way. And we're going to do the same movements going the other direction. So I will walk this through for you again. Okay, so I come back, do my break here. Now I'm going to turn back on Gail. I got kidney, and that's going to cause her to pop up. Now I'm going to check, but I'm going to strike with my right forearm or back knuckle. This is what I affectionately call the meat hammer, right? Frankly, you use that ulna bone to the back of the neck, the person's going to get knocked out probably. So, you know, like we say in any of these techniques, any move can, you know, end this idea. Okay, so I'm going to slant this into her neck and I'm going to grab her shoulder. And here's my first eye gouge. Now I'm going to keep it going this way. I'm going to sweep her here. And here's my pokes that I'm going to put in at this point. Now I'm going to spin. I'm going to buckle an elbow. And she's going to go forward. I'm sorry, dear. Good God. What have I done? I need my wife to drive me to appointments, doctor's appointments, psychiatric appointments mostly. Okay. The size differential, a sweep like that is going to send somebody that size forward probably. You know, if I had my way, I'd like to strike up top and send them careening the other direction over the leg. Okay, so I'll give this to you one more time, folks. Going to block, arm break, insert the elbow, insert back. She arches the back, meat hammer. Come in, we got the poke, sweep into the other eye. And oh boy, I'm going to pay for that later. All right, let's see. Where am I on the clock here? All right, I'm about 5 minutes and a half here, so good. Back to you, Dan.
All right, so this is what I'm thinking. Right? Okay. If you guys haven't noticed, if you look at the flyer for our 10th anniversary event, Gail is going to be one of the instructors there. So I think a bunch of us are going to be sitting there with our notepads and our popcorn watching Gail demonstrate on Mark the whole time. Excellent as always, Lawler family. All right, we're going to move it right along. We're going to send it over to my partner in crime, Mr. Brian Saul.
I think Mark's in so much trouble. What's going on, everybody? It's great to see everyone on another roundtable. Steve Arsenault, always good to see you again, my friend. It's been a long time. Mr. Harms, sorry about your father. I'm thrilled that we're doing this show for him. I never got to meet him, and that's a regret that I'll have to live with, so my condolences. But let's move on and talk about Dance of Darkness. So there's a lot of connection to this one in Long 4. All right, in Long 4, you know, all our themes in our forms, Long 4 has those combination attacks, the kick, punch, punch, punch. All right, and what you get is you get a little different variation. It's going to deviate a little bit from 4, but you have a lot of options when this kick comes in. All right, outside of 4, we've got this technique, right, where you can boom, you can drop back there, you can drop back this way here, and we have this in this technique. We've got here for unwinding, all right? So now what we have with Dance of Darkness is we're not descending, okay? Now we're advancing, all right? So you're getting all of your different combinations of retreat, retreat and unwind. You can retreat and advance, all right? And you start to see some of these themes play out through Long 4. So now let's talk about the technique a little bit. You have the right kick, right punch coming in. It's already been said. You can block this stuff, but get off the line. If you're only blocking but not getting off the line, you're only doing 50% of the work, all right? So you start here. When this kick comes in, drop back off that line, all right? This arm becomes a gauging arm, all right? The line that this block follows is going to dictate where that foot lands. So you got to think about that for the depth when this punch comes in. All right, so you block the kick, block the punch. You got the arm break here, which Mr. Lawler very nicely pointed out. And then as Mr. Miller pointed out, advance with a straight poke, hook. Your elbow will get to the outside of that shoulder to anchor them down. All right, that gives you this target fully unloaded. I also like to keep my hands together for one unit, more mass within that strike. Again, if you can get that head to snap back, that's where you have this back knuckle come in. You keep the weight on the shoulder to keep the height checked as you shoot that back knuckle to the temple. Right from there, again, you still have to keep that height check. You don't want to somehow eat a scoop. So you keep that checked with the right hand. You poke, sweep, as Mr. Miller talked about. Don't get out of range and then poke. Okay? Poke, sweep, poke, land. Now, these buckles. You'll see these up and down the system. We do these two buckles, right? We go 1 and then 2 before you follow up with whatever you want. It's important to understand these buckles because they serve a purpose. These buckles usually are only going to work when you have the weight on the leg, all right? In this first buckle that we do, all right, we want that weight on that right leg. So we take that leg first. As they recover, now all of their weight is on that leg, which makes this buckle very effective. They fall down. I've seen a lot of different endings. You can go straight in here. You can loop around. You can do that a whole bunch of different ways. But I'm probably up on time, aren't I? So one more time. You start in your right neutral bow. Get off the line, drop back, and block that kick. Gauge where it's going to land. You have the punch, the break, the poke. Load and unwind. Put your body and rotation and mass into this. Boom, sticks the head out, hit to the temple. Keep the weight on, poke. Sweep, poke, land. Buckle to get the weight on that leg, and then shoot that second buckle so they go down and finish them off with your whatever kick you want to do. That's my take on Dance of Darkness. It's great to see everyone. I'm glad to see everyone's out here. If you're not with us, come join us. $5 a month. I mean, it's nothing. And we have a blast. Right back to you, Mr. Mack.
Thank you very much, Mr. Saul. All right, it's my turn, so I'm going to stand up right now and get right into it. Okay, so Dance of Darkness. Here's what I'm going to say about Dance of Darkness, because this is one of these techniques that, I think it's like a whole bunch of ideas and completions of other ideas put together into one, and Brian hit on it a little bit, so I'm going to talk about this. Is that the kick techniques, for example, you have a hugging pendulum where the guy comes at you and you're going to drop it back and block. Now here I have room so I can drop back and block before I come through and do the rest of the technique. But now what if I have some type of an environmental issue, like maybe a wall behind me where I can't retreat? What am I going to do? Or where I can't step back with this back foot, I'm going to retreat with my front leg and go into retreating pendulum. So retreating pendulum is a environment consideration for unwinding pendulum. Then we get it, or not, that's next for hugging pendulum. Then we get into unwinding pendulum, which I'm going to go this way, and I'm going to take my son, Michael. Come on up here, Michael. And now what he's going to do is he's going to give me a kick and a punch, and I'm going to go block, and then I'm going to come underneath. But what if environmentally I can't retreat? Maybe there's a bad guy over there, or maybe there's a bad guy over here. 1, 2, pow, I get hit from there. So I may have to environmentally escape this way. That's the idea. And here's an example of how to practice it. I gotta be honest with you. If a bad guy attacks me with a kick punch combination, I'm probably not going to, just hold for a sec. I'm probably not going to, beautiful form. It's probably going to be more like he's going to shoot that kick and I'm like, oh my goodness gracious, and then I get through it. You see that? That's the idea. The example I use for that all the time is backbreaker. All right, what you're going to do is you're going to give me like a wild right roundhouse punch. He shoots at me, I go, oh my goodness, oh look, I'm in position for backbreaker. You see that? Environmentally, you may fall into it. Environmentally, you may have an issue that prevents you from completing unwinding pendulum. So what do? You're going to have to advance. And that's the idea there. So take that into consideration. Sometimes when you're in the trenches, last month we did what? Fatal deviation. And we talked about if he swings a right roundhouse punch, I got that there. If he swings a right followed by a left, I have this here, and then I can follow it in. All right? I'm in tight. I'm in the trenches. So now I'm in a situation where this dude's going to kick and punch me, and I'm like, oh my goodness, whoa! What do I do from there? Lawler had the elbow underneath, which is pretty cool, right? Miller had the poke up top, which is pretty cool, okay? You have a lot of different things you can add in there before you go into this part here, which, let's talk about that real quick, and then we'll call it, or I'll call it. Now, you stay back here, turn around, Mike. Thank you very much from here. Now, he has a lovely mane of hair, okay? A lovely mane of hair. So when I do this move here, boom, I can grab this lovely mane of hair and do the back up down underneath. Or I can pull it and actually shove it up in there. I've seen that sometimes, not the best, but I like that, okay? Because we have a lot of techniques like, what's this, thrusting lance, that practices hitting this area here. So here's another approach for this. But in general, you have this here, boom, and then you come through poke and you're done. So my take on this is think about your environment. Why would I go back and then back as opposed to back and then forward? What situation would put me in that? There's a lot of options, but this is a way to practice just in case. All right. Thanks, kid. Give that a quick hug. Biggity bam. Excellent. All right. Get those dogs out of here. All right. That's all I have to say about that. And that's going to bring us, sorry as I adjust this, that's going to bring us to our plugs. So if you like what you're seeing here and you're interested in a little more, for just $50 a year, you can become a member of the Brotherhood. Now, what does that include? Well, that includes your welcome packet with your patch and your ID card, but you also get access to our members only page. And our members only page is where you guys know the drill at this point. We have 4,723 videos. 4,000, I think that's the number, or 470,000. I don't know, but it's a lot. And we're constantly adding. Angelo just did one last week. He put a neat blade video up there. You know, I did one like a week or two before that. Sabor did one. I mean, there's always stuff popping up. And, you know, Angelo and I were talking yesterday. We have some good ideas, some stuff we're going to do moving forward. So I'll keep you posted. But if you're interested, you can go to brotherhoodkenpo.com, click on the join now button. Okay, it's only $50 a year, and you get all that stuff. It's pretty sweet. It's a cool community. Also, next month, March 18th, 19th is going to be the big one. 10 years. 10th anniversary celebration. We have people coming from all over. Heck, Lorenzo's going to be here from Spain. How cool is that? And hopefully, free Steve Stewart. He can somehow get down here too. But anyway, we're going to have a ton of instructors. It's going to be great. If you want more information on that, you can just do what I say all the time. When my wife wants to know when I'm doing stuff, what does she do? Goes to Sabora's page. It's all there. Or you can go to the Brotherhood page on Facebook. All right. Moving right along. Speaking of Angelo, we're going to send it out to the undisclosed location somewhere in LA. Is he with AJ? Let's see. Angelo!
And Bruce Leroy. I wore my Kung Fu sweater just for you, Dan.
Looking smooth, AJ. Looking smooth.
What's going on, guys? Dance of Darkness. It's a fun thing. First off, Steve and Steve, I love your harms. Steve Arsenault, we just met by mistake out there, but I love you anyway. Welcome to the Brotherhood. Okay, so Dance of Darkness. This is a fun technique. You know, this is always fun. It's one of my favorite techniques for the Form 4. Makes you look pretty, makes you look good. It's one of the more fun techniques to do. So recently, we've been working on techniques, and AJ and I like to play on these techniques and kind of tweak them and play with them and come up with alternatives and just kind of have fun to give us something to train with. And so we were doing this last week when you guys announced, we announced that we were going to do Dance of Darkness, right? So we came up, or I should say AJ came up with some really cool streamlined stuff for this technique. And I was overwhelmed with it. It was actually awesome. So I'm not going to steal his thunder. We're going to present that, and I'm going to let him do that. Go for it. It was his idea. Thank you. All right. So with this technique, it's a very smooth technique, a lot of good flow to it. The base technique, stepping back, hitting that downward block, downward parry. I've heard a couple of you guys different options. As that punch comes in, we're advancing forward.
I like to catch a little shot here on the tricep as I'm moving in, pop maybe a little extra. Now we're stepping through, hitting, I'll turn real quick, hitting there with that back knuckle and the vertical fist. Ball back knuckle, grab the hair, grab the shoulder, into the eye, sweep the leg into the eye. So one thing that I found on this technique, there's a little bit of broken rhythm that I found that, and some of you may have seen it before or experienced it before. On this part here, after the kick punch, boom, 1, 2. If you have that rip in there, that's fine. This shot here, when we hit, we're shooting our punches forward, our back knuckle and our fist, boom. Then we have a little broken rhythm here. Boom, we have to grab back knuckle. And now we have to retract that circle and go into my poke and my poke. So you see 3 different directions going on of 1, 2, 3. Okay. So what I was playing with is keeping this energy moving the whole time and not having to stop and reorbit or do anything like that. So when this comes in here, boom, we take that step in. I'm going to step. I'm going to land my shot. As I step, I'm going to land this back knuckle here. So I'm not going to rip and turn with that back knuckle. I'm going to step 1, 2, settling on this hammer or this back knuckle. Now, when I hit this, what's the reaction you're going to get? You're going to get that head coming back. So I've actually taken out the claw or the grab. So now it's becoming a back knuckle, and this comes straight back up to the head. So it's this motion, pop, pop, as opposed to boom, hit, hit. So you're taking a little beat out of there. So a little bit faster, we have 1, 2, 3, hit, hit. Now, since you threw this back knuckle, we have a nice smooth circle into our poke. So it's 1, 2, 3. So now 1, 2, 3, 4 as that comes in, as opposed to hit, claw, hit, poke, poke. So what this did for me, it actually kind of smoothed it out a little bit. Now talking about the eye itself, say we come into this shot here. If you poke someone in the eye, grab the nose, boom, what's the reaction you're going to get? Hands are going to come up. Okay. So I like to do heel pump. Okay. 1, 2, smack. 5 fingers. We got 5 fingers, right? 2 eyes. You're going to get a lot more, less margin of error using those 5 fingers coming in. Coming from Chuck Sullivan, actually. That's one of his quotes that he likes to use. 1, 2. This hand comes up with that claw pretty much right into the face. Boom. Then you can clear with your eye shot or your back knuckle or whatever you want. But main thing is 1, 2, 3, hammer, turn, back knuckle. This continues that circle, whack, into that poke and that sweep. So just to continue in that flow as opposed to breaking it up. Now it becomes 1, 2, 3 as opposed to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're taking a little beat out of there.
Right. I just want to also talk about what Michael Miller was talking about and go back to the traditional way. So when you're coming in, one, and we're doing this way, we're going with our parries and coming through when we do our hit, boom, boom. Now, in reality, that arm's not going to stay there, okay? It's not going to stay there because if any of you have ever been poked in the eyeball, the first thing you're going to do if I poke in your eye is you're going to reach, okay? So technically, if I grab and I hit you, and then I go into an eye poke, where's your hands going to go? They're going to cover, and then you're going to get the secondary is going to get blocked, okay? So what I like to do from here is, instead of this position here, you can do a ridge hand to the throat, which is going to cause his hands to go to a throat, and then go to the eye, and then follow out either way. So remember, there's always an anatomical reaction. If I poke you in the eye, your hands are going to go to the eye. If I get you in the throat, they're going to go to the throat, okay? Another option that we came up with was from here, after we do the eye poke, his hands are in the way, then hit the stomach on the way out before we do the sweep. So these are all just things that we like to play with. The base technique is great. The last thing I want to mention is the sweep, okay? After we do that from this position, a lot of people like to do the sweep ankle to ankle, boot to boot. I like it because I'm shorter. I use my thigh and I drive it up this way. So what I do is I do poke, poke, drive, and then I'll drive that last shot here for this, and then do Monty's ha at the end, okay? So either way, it works pretty good. These are just some of the ideas we have for this technique. Dance of Darkness, again, we're not changing anything, but we're playing with it, rearranging it, but we'll always go back to the traditional style of teaching Kenpo the way it's written on the walls. Anything else?
No, good stuff.
All right, guys, back to you.
Hey, AJ, your kung fu is strong.
Thank you very much to Angelo and Bruce Leroy. Excellent as always. Although I have to admit, if you guys could move that church out of the way so I can see the mountain next time. I miss seeing the mountain this month. But and I heard a rumor that AJ will be making his triumphant return to the East Coast on March 19th. So if you like what you see out of him, which who doesn't? The kid's spectacular. You spend some time with AJ. If you guys haven't met him, spend some time with him when he comes into town in another month or so. All right, moving right along to another guy that's going to be here in Maryland in March, all the way from Barcelona, Lorenzo.
Hello, everybody. I hope that all people are okay with this virus and it's quickly finished, okay? Okay, so one thing, this technique is the curriculum is in the brown belt. So I think it's the second brown belt. So this is the technique for the people that work in Kenpo so many years, okay? So we need to think in the four basics, the basis form that we have four basis form. One, short one, long one, short two, long two. So for the technique in the brown belt, we need to work and we need to understand the long two to try to work better this technique. This is one technique that you can see the different example that we need to work in the form, okay? The first, when you are working in this way, you need to do rear crossover. In the form, long two, you need to do rear crossover correctly. I think that we work this move in the other technique. Some people do this move, and he put his head near, and this is the possibility to punch. So you need to get in vertical plane. You need to move in vertical plane, okay? This is the same thing. You are the hand here, you need to move in vertical plane, okay? And then when you continue to do the technique, okay, you do this move, and then you do this move. This is long two. You are doing this, and then you do this move. This is the basic move, okay? And when you finish and you are doing this is the same idea, and you need to think how you can study this. You are doing in this way, you are doing in this way in long four. Now you are doing in this way, and in the long five, you are doing this way. This is the same method, but in different plane, okay? But you are working this in long two, the concept, okay? And then on the finish, you are doing this foot maneuver. This is the same thing, long two. This is the same foot maneuver. So you need to work long two to correct, apply the move in this thing, okay? So when we are talking this, one thing that we need to check, don't move this hand in this way and then in this way. You are put your hand here, you need to do this move, okay? And remember, we are continuing to study what we are doing or what we can do in the circle. In the circle, we can continue the circle, reverse the circle, and cut the circle. Okay, so here you are reversing the circle. Another technique, you have continued the circle. Okay, so this is a very nice technique to put some different idea and to apply some different idea here. Okay, so I do the technique in this way. I'm thinking in the form, we do this and then this. This is another idea. When you block and you continue the block and he rests in check, you punch, you rest in check, you are parrying and you rest in check, and you check it, you continue to be in check. Here, you are parrying and the parry change to the check. This is another family, okay, that you need to think in, okay? So you are in this way, up, you move, you check, and you change the line. This is not the foot maneuver that in the form. In the form, we continue the line. You need to think why in the form we continue the line, and now we need to change the for 19 degrees, okay? You are doing this, check, you change the line, and you hit, okay? Boom. And then when you are hitting, boom, you grab, you punch. Now you poke, then you are doing this concept in long two. And this is another thing that we need to check. When I do this, I put in the correct way. This is a pampa. Now, this is one thing that I see in a lot of people. The action is in this way and the other action in this way. No. It's in opposite force, in this way. Okay? So you need to control your balance. One power in this way, one power in this way. And you control your balance. If not, you are doing this and then this. Okay? No, you are doing one in this way, and then you can continue the technique. Okay? It's important to get the basics in the mind. Of course, to apply the basics. Okay? This is only the idea that I can share with you. Okay? That is all, boss. I come to you then.
I mean, spectacular as always. I can't wait to see you in person, Lorenzo. I can't wait to see you in person. You're so entertaining to watch, so informative. I was actually excited because Lorenzo always does forms comparisons, and he started to do the this deal here, and I was like, oh yeah, I know that already. So after 33 shows, I actually knew a forms correlation before Lorenzo said it, and then he expounded on it and taught me something anyway, which is way, way, way cool. So thank you very much, Lorenzo. I'll see you on the round table before I see you in Maryland, my friend. All right, moving right along. Yeah. We're gonna send it up to all right, I gotta say this real quick. Since we have Steve Arsenault here today, and we all have a long history with Steve Arsenault, a good friend of ours. But back in the 90s, the way I met Dan Donfro was there was like the manager network. You know, like Sabora was the manager of Joe Palazzo's school. I was a manager of a school here in PA, a guy named Joe Bridenstine. I was running his school. And Dan Donfro was at the time running Steve Arsenault's school. So we as managers, that next level of guys, we all got together and hung out. And here we all these years later. So from one former manager to another, we're sending it up to one of my favorite places on earth, Dartmouth.
Thanks a lot, Dan. So yes, Dance of Darkness. Now, the normal way we do things here, we'll do something with the relationships and then we'll move on to some application stuff. But almost being Valentine's Day, we're going to pass on the relationships this time. So Dance of Darkness. I'm just going to get this straight. I always say this. When I teach the techniques to the students, we do it, textbook version. And then, you have the option later to change them up. So I've came up always sparring. I always used to spar. I still spar. I've trained fighters. I've trained fighters to championships. And I have never taught any of them or trained any of them to go into a twist stance off of a kick. And again, it's pretty. It looks good. And it does work. But, you need to remember that if somebody's attacking you outside the ring with a kick and a punch, they probably have some form of training, and you need to take that into consideration. So, the twist stances and the eye pokes, it gets a little bit cute, but it's not going to be as easy as you think it may. So we changed up the technique, but anyway, the base technique, the way we do the base technique is just like everybody else is doing. We twist stance, and it's either a block or a parry, and then it's coming back up into the eye, hook the head, and then it's almost a riding punch, back knuckle punch to the kidney and the ribs, come back up. Now, I believe a lot of people are doing a back knuckle. I like to rather do the back fist, because the back of the knuckles here, the bones there are not necessarily a good thing to be hitting the head. So the fist is a little bit better of a strike. And then it's the kick sweep, spin sweep, 1 and 2. So I'll have Miss Laura demonstrate that on Brightman. Back it up a little. There you go, right there. So there it is. So again, Brightman's coming at me. I just think that going into this twist stance, you could get yourself into a little bit of trouble if the person knows what they're doing. So step drag back. I'm definitely more ready here, okay? And now I'm just going to have to say that, AJ, stuff you did was awesome. And you really stole our thunder because we had almost the same exact thing going on. So we're kind of thinking alike there. So this is our little change up on the technique. Right, it's coming up here. But now when I come through and hit, and then palm, knee, swing. There, all right? So we had 2 versions. That was version 1. We call that the dance of brightness. All right. So again, here, hit, bam, boom, and then the sweep. I wasn't going to put them down, so come back up. And version B would be here, up, stepping in, hit, here, sweep, then knee. And that's pretty brutal. Here to here. And then you can hit them on the way down that second time. So, do you want to do the version? All right, so just one more time. My favorite version, again, I'm aware of the fact that with all the techniques, all the parts create a whole. So I'm not out to change the system, just a few change-ups for fun. Here, knee, and then the leg sweep, which I'll forgive. All right, so you guys can bring it on back. And I guess with that, we will send it back out to you, Dan.
Dance of brightness. I like that. Dance of Brightman. Excellent. Hey, man, that's all purpose of the round table. Take some creative freedom. Show us what you're thinking about. That's the whole purpose. That's the whole purpose, is to share your thoughts, and we love what you have to say, Don Fro. So excellent as always. All right, we're going to send it up to Canada. The man that is royalty, the king of Canada, Steve Stewart.
How are you all? Hope all's well. Mr. Irons, my deepest condolences on your father's passing. I know we've never met, but I wanted to offer that to Mr. Arsenault. We go back a long time. It was him and Joe Palazzo that came up back in the 94 to launch American Kenpo up here and set me on the correct path. So duly grateful for all those years ago. I hope all's well. So anyway, where's my music? Oh, right. You can't have this dancing in the dark without Dance of Darkness, right? We can just tear it down and keep it going. So I'm going to give you my take on it. Mr. Sunlick, we're both the same height. He's actually 6'6". So anyway, you're going to take my take on it from this angle here. So from the kick position, a lot of people do the rear twist, and we do that for the form and bring it up for the punch. But I like to move offline and don't wait for the punch. He does the kick, I move off, I don't wait for the punch to come in. Now from this position, I like to hit in the little insertion point, causes him to buckle over when I move to the rear. This insertion point's right here, the umbilicus, about 4 finger breaths over in that area. Somebody this size here, if I punch him in and up, he can take it. But if I hit him down, he'll buckle. Just the anatomy. So again, from the kick, boom, boom, that's the twist. If I move offline, don't wait for it. Hit the buckle, I move to this rear. Now I'm just going to turn this way and rotate to a closed kneel. On the vertebrae, I like to hit one side here, one side there. Oh, that's going to buckle him. It drives all the energy to the ground, makes his extremities very, very weak. You can just buckle the leg and take him to the ground. So once I've hit in that position there, check. And I like to hit him at about number 20 right up in this insertion point. If I just tap that, that's what's going to do to him. So you can use the back double. I like to use a neat thing like Mr. Lawler was demonstrating before. Then from this position here, as I check and hit, I'm going to check and hit and sweep at the same time. I used to use the claw across the face. So I like to use the claw this way. So I'm hitting the claw. So then when I hit the claw and I sweep that way there, I'm going to take the leg and then point just above the ankle, pull it to the ground this way as I back knuckle. Now, on the back knuckle part, another insertion point right here, just above the waistline. If I hit this in and up, nothing happens. I want to roll that knuckle down, not see what the effect you're going to get. On the first motion on the kick, there's a point, insertion point, 2/3 down from the knee, 1/3 up the lateral malleolus. If I hit that two-way action this way, it'll give him a Charlie horse. So, sorry. So, see, Canadians, we always say we're sorry. We do peaceful demonstration. So moving this way, moving that way, hit the point, knock it, hit point, hit, sweep, down you go to the ground. I usually use this, slice to the face. Another way you can do that for a controlling measure, if I use this position here, coming up this way from a twist, or moving offline, moving in, I like to roll this way, roll them back down, you can take them to the ground, roll them all the way over. I have them to my legs. There you go. So another way of doing it from a controlling mechanism. You can also do it, Mr. Longer didn't do it, from a boxing mechanism. If I move from here and I slip, shoot the punch here, hit it low, hit it high, get back in here, shoot the roundhouse kick. You can do it that way as well. So anyway, that's just a take. I wanted to do that with a little music. Back to you, Dan.
Here's my peaceful protest. Free Steve Stewart! Free Steve Stewart. We want to see him in Maryland next month. We want to see Steve Stewart. Excellent as always, my friend. Excellent as always. And although my good friend Damian Abbott loves Bruce Springsteen, when it comes to Bruce Springsteen, I'd rather listen to Steve Stewart sing, but that's just me. Anywho, let's move it right along. We're going to send it down to Maryland, the host of the 10th anniversary event, Samora.
Hey, everybody. Salute, Steve. And Steve, welcome. And Steve Harms, my condolences once again, for the passing of your father. Anyway, Steve Arsenault, really good to see you. All right, so to the technique, Dance of Darkness. Okay, yeah, that's what we're doing, right? Dance of Darkness. So I think the main thing of this technique is learning how to use your stances and footwork in a confined space, as Dan touched up on it a little bit. So I will go over with what I teach, okay? So the guys come in with the kick and punch. Obviously, maybe he did something and, make you think, hey, this guy's probably no karate. So you probably have to create a reason, bait him to come in and shoot that kick. And a lot of time when people know how to kick, most likely they will follow up with a punch too. Okay, so we have to assume that that punch is coming. Whether it come or not, it doesn't change what you're planning on doing. Okay, so the idea here, as the kick comes in, once again, because of confined space, maybe you're in an elevator, maybe you're in an old phone booth, maybe you're in your own bathroom, or whatever the case may be. But I know some of you guys have a humongous bathroom. Anyway, from here, we reacross, downward block. Okay, so I do a downward block, could be a downward parry, whatever you choose, don't matter, just don't get kicked. All right, and immediately keep that hand, your checking hand, up right away. Common mistake that I see is people go here, but this hand's still here. So if the guys follow with that punch, they're going to be able to hit you right away. Okay, so you want to go 1, 2. Now from here, we step out of it as you go into the outward parry. If you elect to hit under his elbow, great. But the idea here, once again, it's double factor on that block so that he cannot collapse his elbow and hit you in the face. Okay, and just like Lorenzo was saying, so from here, in the form, you go straight just because it's a form. You don't need to do the footwork correctly in terms of techniques, because in the form, it's just a form. You have to stay within the angle. In the technique, you do change the angle, okay? So we go reacross, up, over, and we change the angle right here, okay? You have that ripping claw and then the back knuckle punch right here, okay? Kidney, spine, whatever you can get. That hopefully create a little bit of an arch of his back if you can get there, okay? Now from here, if he has hair, obviously grab it. If he doesn't have hair, grab his shirt. If he doesn't have his shirt, doesn't matter. You just check and go into that next move, which is your back knuckle or your uppercut. If you do this shot nice and strong and hard, like, you know, Mark Lawler would be able to do, the guys probably like that, which create a good ledge for you to come up with that back knuckle, okay? Or that uppercut. From here, as you hook the eyes, okay, once again, the reaction would be like Angelo was saying, his hand's probably going to come up and is probably moving back. If he's moving back, he's putting his weight on his heel, which make this sweep a lot easier for you, okay? So that hook's right there. You sweep the leg if it's there, and if it's not, you just kick it and then plant, okay? A common mistake I see in the sweep and plant is that a lot of people would sweep and they go away as they poke, okay? What I like to do is as you sweep, you want to plant straight down right next to their foot. So pretend this is their foot. I want to plant right on the outside of it, right about here. So that when I unwind to do the buckle, is within range, okay? If I plant too far, as I unwind, I'm not going to be able to buckle and do the takedown. So these are footworks and drills that we need to do to develop that muscle memory so that if you arise into that type of encounter, you know what to do, okay? Ideally, in a real street fight, no, we wouldn't do any of this stuff, okay? Although the eye poke would work. I mean, if you surprise somebody, okay? So then you poke them multiple times in this case. We got in the beginning, the claw, and then you got these two pokes, okay? So why do you have to do it so many times? More opportunity to go after a vital target, okay? Maybe the guy's wearing glasses, or maybe he's got a football helmet or a motorcycle helmet where the eyes are protected. So some of these moves could be prying, yanking to get things out of the way so that you can insert the next shot. All right, so let's say we got to here. We unwind back knuckle, buckle, heel palm. One of the things that I see is that people buckle and heel palm down, which is okay. Okay, I like to buckle straight back and heel palm up, okay, so that my body's kind of straight out. So this lays him straight out, okay, and down he goes. As he goes down, the last two kicks, okay, so from here, if you get that far, the last two kicks, I believe Mr. Parker used to call this, we can't call it anymore, I guess, mentally challenged front kick. Used to be called retarded front kick, which is going this way, okay? So your front kick goes this way, around his shoulder. So he's on the ground, you're kicking around his shoulder and into the side of the head. Or if he's covering like this, as he's on the ground, you're going around his guard and kick him in the face, all right? So that's the purpose of that kick, okay? As you plant once again in the rear, in the front cross, and then we shoot the kick, okay? And then cover out. If you need to do all that, then, you know, you're in a sticky situation there. But anyway, I think that this technique really is teaching you about the footwork. You know, when you're in a rear cross in this case, what can you do from a rear cross? Well, a little early on, we kick with it. We move up with it in this case, all right? What else can you do? You can unwind out of it, like Dan Mac was saying. Okay, what else can you do from across? Well, if I unwind, I can continue to unwind from that same position, and then I can use it as a buckle and take your opponent down. Okay, so it is advanced footwork and maneuver and, you know, stances and stuff like that. It does take some work to really develop that muscle memory to make it work, okay? Anyway, that's all I got. Thank you. Back to Dan Meck.
Thank you very much, Sabora. All right, so now we're going to get to our featured presenters. Now, a lot of you have been hearing us extend our condolences to our first presenter, Steve Harms. And that's because the Kenpo community lost a great man about 6 weeks ago. Ben Harms, Steve's dad, was a incredibly warm and kind and intelligent and interesting and classy man. He had a great smile, and let's be honest, he was a badass mother. Oh, I gotta watch my mouth. but you have to be, when you're constantly getting hit by his kid, Steve Harms. You want to see talent? Watch this guy. And I believe we're going to be getting a cameo appearance from Bollywood action star Jason Churchill. All right, let's throw it over to Steve Harms.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Thank you so much. Thank you everybody there for the condolences to my dad. It's been testing time, but one day at a time, 1 minute at a time, we're moving forward. And Kenpo is definitely one of the big things that has kept me mentally focused and driven. So let's get to it. Okay. Everybody will always offer and give and show their own takes on, one moment. They always give and show their own takes on different forms, different techniques, different structures, and different styles. Okay, it's hard to kind of bring something new, given the demonstrations that have been given here so far this evening from all the superb instructors. I'm going to try and focus a little bit more on the attacker's perspective within this dynamic of this technique. If I borrow Jason, as everybody has done so far, as everybody has done so far, beautiful form. The kick has come. As the kick has come, everybody has retreated nicely, done their blocks, done their checks, parried, checked, stepped up, strike, back knuckle, fingers, sweeps, etc. Okay, so we've all had this motion applied. If you look at as I said, from the attacker's perspective when they're coming in, we've got the kick and the punch. Okay, they can come at different times, they can come with different rhythms. In order, from my perspective, to be able to efficiently kind of work within this dynamic, we've got to think about our footwork as well as stepping off the angle or step dragging back. I like to apply, rather than a solid rear twist at this point, as the kick comes, as this foot plants back, I ever so slightly trigger my front leg, my lead leg, to help me spring forward out of that into my defense. So as the kick comes and this happens and this hits, the punch coming then after is met with that body then springing forward. So we get this 1-2 motion that happens, as opposed to potentially being caught completely flat-footed at this point as we settle into this gap. So we retreat and we spring out here, but then it doesn't stop. I like to carry that motion on again. So we get our 1-2, and then as this hits, rather than stepping, winding up here to then strike here, if you come through 1-2, as this hits here as we step up, we then allow it to sink straight in. So we hit here as we're stepping up, and we get this motion that happens. We get 1, 2, and 3, but rather than a 1, 2, 3, and that withdraw, as it hits and it goes through, allow it to collapse. And as this shot hits, whip it straight back up to that back knuckle shot. So again, one more time, we go 1, 2, see the foot, see the flick. Here's our 2, 3, and 4, there. 1, 2. Then we can carry on and move up the body and move off the angle. Another small addition, going back to the attacker and the attacker's perspective, is that if we were to potentially withdraw too far, we go 1, 2, 3, and as we're moving here, he ups the circle. So we're no longer in that darkness. The darkness here fails. We're no longer in that position. He comes around. And as he comes around, we're now going to be striking at the exploding rib, checking him, and striking directly to the face. Right here. After that shot happens, check down as such, feed your back knuckle, rear twist now. Instead of sweeping, rear twist. Slip an elbow, take the leg on the inside, trigger here, unwind, and slip a rear kick. And we're done. One more time. Nice and slow. It goes 1, 2, we slip. It misses, or this fails, and he stepped up that circle. Doesn't stay where he was before. We've got our check here and our strike. but we punch right to the face. Boom, right there. Check that, bam, up to elbow. Slip on the inside. Breathe through. Up that kick. And we're done. Awesome. Thank you so much. Kiss and hug. Jason Churchill, everybody. Jason Churchill. Give him a round of applause. Thank you. Back to you, Dan. Thank you.
I love watching you move, man. I absolutely love watching you move. If you guys have the opportunity to spend time and listen to what Steve Harms has to say, listen, because the guy is talented. All right. Moving right along, that brings us to our final guest of the day. And I have to say our final guest of the day is a very special person to me because Steve Arsenault is a man who he saw something in me at a young age and he had my back and he gave me a lot of opportunities that a lot of other people wouldn't give. So I can stand here today and say that Steve Arsenault definitely helped to form the man that I am today. And to that, I will always be appreciative. And man, if his Kenpo wasn't good, I wouldn't be following him in the first place. One of the most talented Kenpo martial artists I've ever met, Mr. Steve Arsenault.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me. And it's good to see a lot of the guys from the days before that are still out there. And even though we've gotten a little older, the knowledge and the skill everybody's displaying is pretty remarkable. There isn't much more I can add to this Dance of Darkness other than what I was taught, that in Dance of Darkness, we're taking it out of Form 4. So the technique previous to that would be circles of protection with the right back knuckle. And I think you're going to 130, and then the kick and the punch is coming in from 430. So some of the examples are like with your right arm up, you're moving with your right foot into a twist stance. I was told it was a lot quicker to do that because of the timing, rather than doing a step through reverse or just an adjustment off. We're going right into the twist stance. Also, the twist stance, the right foot, when you go into the rear twist stance, checks whoever's behind you, because someone could be giving you a bear hug from the rear, hands free. So it's coming from, it's starting at 130, then it's moving and it's facing towards 430. And then pretty much everybody does the ideal phase of the technique. And from what I see, everyone's got a certain variety, but it's all pretty much great ideas on Dance of Darkness, especially the hooks and the pokes. And the pokes, the way I understand it is to keep your opponent away from you. So like raking mace, like mace of aggression, when you do the poke, it's to keep the guy from advancing towards you. Other than that, everyone had a great idea about it. It was nice to see everybody out there doing this technique. Hopefully I'll be invited again. So anyways, back to you, Dan.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Steve Arsenault. All right, so now that takes us to the final spot of the day, pass the mic. This is where each instructor is going to take about 30 seconds just as a quick wrap up, and let's throw it right away over to Mr. Michael Miller.
All right. Good job, everybody. Good deal. Just as always, wonderful. I want to say thank you to our guests, Mr. Harms and Mr. Arsenault. Thank you guys for taking time out of your day for us. We appreciate you guys, and look forward to seeing everybody in March. Hopefully I can make it. At that point, I'm going to try my best. So we'll kick it back to you, Dan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Miller. We're going to throw it over to Monte.
Hey, it's a great honor to be on this platform. Guys, the Brotherhood, it's a camaraderie between a bunch of people. There's nobody on the top, nobody on the bottom. We're all family, and we share knowledge. If you have any questions, about any technique. So you post your request, and all of a sudden you see people from Spain all the way to Chile participating and helping to see what's their point of view. So, and it's the fee is $50 a year. It's nothing compared to the amount of knowledge and support, and no computer warriors, no things to tear you down. Everybody's there to help you and support you. So it's a great mind alliance. I always repeat that. It's a bunch of brains getting together and helping each other from what you see today. Salute.
Thank you very much, Mr. Monty. We're going to throw it over to Mark Lawler.
A great day again, everybody. I just wanted to, sorry about the glare, everybody. Just dovetail what Dan Meck was saying earlier about my buddy Steve Stewart. Okay. This is not Ferris Bueller, okay? I'm the true king of Canada. I'm thinking, Steve, I'm thinking the truckers, farmers, Hells Angels, citizens. You march to that damn Capitol and put the real king of Canada replace that milquetoast little weenie. And that's all I have to say about that.
Well said, Mr. Lawler. We'll throw it over to Brian Saul.
I'm sorry, I had to catch my breath there for a second. That was funny. Thank you, Mark.
What'd I say?
Forget about it.
Oh, well, anyway, man. Well, hold on. First of all, I think, Mr. Harms, you gave an actual application to Dance of Brightness.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about a great mind alliance. That's awesome. But it was great seeing everybody. I love all my brothers out there. Mr. Harms, Mr. Arsenault, it's great to see you. As Dan said, $5 a month. That's all it is. And we have such a blast. We have such a blast. So thanks for being with us again. I can't wait to see you all next month at the 10th anniversary at Sabor's. Great to see everyone. Thank you.
It's my turn. It's my turn. We want to see Steve Stewart. So next month we have the we have the 10th anniversary, and for me, my vision was to try to do the Roundtable live. Because you guys have seen the the 10 of us along with our guests 33 times now, and it would be great to have us all. And pretty much every instructor is going to be there. Hopefully Miller can make it, and maybe something will happen in Canada to get Steve Stewart down here. But otherwise, if he can make it, it's going to be a blast. It's going to be a blast. March 18th, 19th, and 20th. All right. We're going to send it back out to the undisclosed location. Angelo and AJ.
Hey, guys. Thanks a lot for coming out and supporting us again. Thank you, Steve and Steve. You guys are awesome. We look forward to seeing you guys on the 18th, and it's going to be a fun time.
Yep. Good stuff today, guys. Always fun. Taking some new stuff from you guys. I'm going to add it to my toolbox, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it.
Always good stuff.
Free Steve.
Yeah, free Steve. Tomorrow, Super Bowl Sunday. They're looking for a record high temperature of over 87, maybe 90 degrees out here.
Bengals. Go Bengals.
So, yeah.
Go Bengals.
Go Rams. Go Rams.
Go Bengals.
Rams.
Guys, see you later.
There
Thank
might
you very
be
much, Angelo and AJ. We're going to take it out to Barcelona and Lorenzo.
Hello, everybody. Hi, Steve, and my condolence for the loss of your parents. Okay, a lot of kiss, and we continue with the party. And next month we will continue in the anniversary of this family. Okay, so see you later, and of course keep safe all people. Okay, thank you so much. And we see you the next time.
Thank you very much, Lorenzo. Let's throw it up to Dartmouth.
All right, it was great to see everybody. And Mr. Steve Harms was awesome. My condolences on the loss of your father. Steve Arsenault, great to see you again, even through the camera. But I look forward to seeing everybody next month in Baltimore. And yeah, once again, free Steve Stewart.
I hear there might be a protest during the Super Bowl tomorrow.
Free Steve.
That's what you're going to
Yeah,
hear.
free Steve Stewart. Free Steve Stewart. Speaking of the man, there he is, Mr. Steve
Halftime
Stewart.
show.
My loyal subjects in the U.S., if you vote me in, this is what you will get.
My brother can count everything is free. Steve.
That is my promise to you. Free everything. We're on emergency lockdown here in Ontario, as you know. These little weenies are trying to take over, but God bless the truckers and the farmers and the pitchforkers and the cowgirls. But it was really great to see everybody. Great technique. Great to see Steve Arsenault after all these years. Mr. Arms, I know we've never met, but again, I offer my condolences in the passing of your dad. Those things are never easy. But on a brighter note, it's snowing here in Canada. It's actually the 4th of July here, Canada time, which is February U.S. time and month. Did you guys get all that?
We got all that. Thank you very much, Mr. Steve Stewart.
I'm not done.
Steve Arms.
I just wanted to say again, it's been an absolute pleasure, an absolute honor to have invited to come and participate in anything you guys put up. We had a great time the last time they were here, and again, I had another great time here. So many great practitioners, such a great amount of knowledge. It's been an absolute pleasure, and again, just a massive round of applause here to Jason. With everything, wouldn't be able to do it without this man. So he's been a rock. So yeah, again, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Steve and Jason. Throw it over to Steve Arsenault.
Hey, I just want to thank everybody for inviting me. It was nice to see everybody. Mark Lawler, Brian Saul, Dan Donfro, Steve Stewart, and it's very gratifying to see everybody all together after all these years. I'm very grateful. So once again, thank you, and I hope to see everybody. I'll try and make it and see if I can get down there. Thank you.
That would be great. We would love it. Thank you very much, Mr. Arsenault. And then finally, we'll send it over to Sabora.
Hey, everybody. Once again, thank you for tuning in and joining us on the roundtable. Thank you to Mr. Steve Arsenault and Mr. Steve Harms. Great to see you guys. It was a lot of fun. And yes, our 10th anniversary should be a humongous event. It's going to be a lot of fun. Please contact me or go to my page for further information. Any question that you have. And I also want to take this opportunity, since Steve Harms, your border is open. You are personally invited by me to come to the 10th anniversary event. If you can make it, would be great. All right, my friend.
Bring Jason with you.
Yes. And Lorenzo is coming all the way from Spain, so I'm excited to see him again too. It's been quite a few years since the last time I see him. So anyway, guys, have a great weekend. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next month. Salud.
Salud.
Thanks, everybody.
All right.
Marisol, good to see you, sister.
Good to see you too. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody. Ciao.
Ciao.
Jason, good evening to the family.
Angelo. Dan.
Yes.